Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and we're proudly sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. I've just booked my wife's MOT in with VMB Auto Centres. If you use the word Ramble when you're booking, you will get 50% off your next MOT. So thank you to them for their continued support, both of those in terms of the supporting the channel. First things first. How are you? How is everybody? And the reason I ask that is because a very emotional day today. I can't, in a good way, because it was sad, but it was uplifting. There were wonderful touches all the way through, and it were quite overwhelming. Not just for me, for a lot of people around us. I know I've spoken to some of the Ramblers in there. I'm not expecting a lot of calls tonight, if I'm honest, because it's taken over some people, and I understand that, and other commitments and things. So I get it. Fantastic result, and a fitting result. It feels like we're back. No, but it feels like that is the sort of performance we put in. Now, it were a 4-4-2. We went 4-4-2. We when I saw the lineup, I thought it might be that way, but you always wonder, is he just going to put Campbell out on the left and still stick with the same 4-2-3-1 and try and put some square pegs in round holes and stick to the system that's worked so well so far this season? I was really pleased to see Campbell up top with Kiefer Moore. I think the 4-4-2 suited us loads better. Michael Cooper, apart from one mistake, which I didn't know he was capable of, to be honest, thought played really solid again. Really solid. What a signing he's been. Although Victor Johansson also showed why he's probably one of the most handsomely paid goalkeepers in the league, because he made some stunning saves to keep it at just 2. I thought Alfie Gilchrist were absolutely brilliant. My Aunt Sal's still raging that he didn't play against Leeds, and I get it. I got the old Shackleton thing, putting him in against his former club. And there may have been another reason. It might have been a fitness issue. But you can't tell me he's not our best right back at the club by a stretch. What a player he is, by the way. Such pedigree, such class on the ball. I know he made a little error at one stage, which Harry Suter got him out of. But for all of that, there were so many good things they were doing today. I thought the 2 centre-halves were outstanding. Again, in different ways. I thought Suter were a brick wall like he is. Tom Cannon got no change out of him and got subbed off at half-time, which makes me look like a fool for thinking that Tom Cannon had been a decent signing for us. I still stand by that, by the way. And if he's upset with Stoke subbing him off at half-time, we'll see in January if that's what he wants to do. But I thought they were outstanding at the back, both of them. And Anel looks back to his old self. And when I say that, I mean the Anel that we saw when he first arrived, like gliding forward with the ball, looking so assured in possession, nipping it off people. Harrison Burrows, very solid at left back again. Not his best performance. I didn't think he was a standout today, but did nothing wrong. Did nothing that overly concerned me. I thought, that is our defence. That is our defence. Obviously the goalkeeper, which hasn't changed and shouldn't. But though that is our strongest back four, by a stretch, it picks itself. So I understand if we have to make changes. Like Anel's picked up a booking, his 5th booking, and against Blackburn, he will have to sit out now. So Jack Robinson, most likely, or maybe Reece Norrington-Davies, but it's likely that Jack Robinson comes into the team. And after that game, when Anel's back, Jack Robinson should come out of the team. I don't mind how well he plays against. He could have a barnstormer against Blackburn, but we have proven that this 4 is the best set defence we've got. And it takes more than one good performance to keep him out. Sidney Peck's had the odd great performance, but has dropped back to the bench as and when the first team has come back. I understand it's a squad game in the Championship. You've got to keep a happy squad to a degree. You have got to do rotation minimally, in my eyes. That is a setback for. Please, no more changes with that back four. I thought Ollie Arblaster took some right whacks today. But thought he played really well. Back to dictating the play in the middle. And I was going to leave him till last because I thought he was absolutely immense. Now, Vinny Souza, I've never been convinced on him. He's got all the tools, the attributes to be a strong athlete. He's built like a destroyer in the middle that you want. And oh my word, today, I think, I suppose you could say I've been a Souza refuser up until this point. But I am all in now. I'm all in after that performance today. And it's not his first great performance for us. But it just shows, my dad there, chuffing out that thing again, innit? You know, smartest thing I did this, weren't it? Like, how? Right, there we go. That's it. So my dad is the worst. He'll not change his mind on anything. He's right about Kiefer Moore. He was always right about McBurney. And I agree with him, by the way, on both points. But he's struggling to admit that Souza has turned it round. He did today. It was like, I have to say, he's looking every bit the Brazilian international today. But he always has to caveat with something, and it's just so frustrating how we're only just starting to see it. That is, for anybody that knows me, Dad, that is typical. So fair dues. We had Raksaki on the right and O'Hare on the left. Raksaki looked lively, if not. To be honest, I thought he had Ender on toast. Ender Stevens, great to see him back at the lane. Obviously, his best years with us. Love Ender, love everything about him. But, you know, he could not live with Raksaki today. I just think his end product, Raksaki, isn't always the best. He's a little bit selfish in possession, always cuts inside, so predictable. Very rarely switches up. He can do both because we've seen it. And at one stage, I was saying, brilliant. He's now added this to his game where he goes to a byline. Didn't really do it today. Not for me. So Raksaki's still got a little bit to work on, but I thought he played well. That's me nitpicking. I think O'Hare. Not convinced by Callum O'Hare. I thought he played okay today, but I think he naturally tucks inside. He was asked to be a left winger today, and he naturally tucks in very deep, which left his man exposed. Or the right back initially in first half had a lot of space, and then when they switched formation to a back three at half time, he were always leaving the wing back for Burrows. And to be honest, it then shifted, and we couldn't really adapt to their formation change for a little while. And I think O'Hare were a big part of that. Their number 42 kept pulling away from him and having a lot of space and a lot of joy at cutting inside. So they came back into it a little bit in second half. And then up top, I thought Tyrese Campbell, pleased that he got his goal. I don't think he looks fit. I think he still looks like he's carrying a little bit. I'm not so sure, to be honest. And that sounds awful. I don't mean it negatively. I'm pleased he got a goal today. Can't say anything other. I just don't know where he contributed other than that, really. Whereas Kiefer Moore, you see him pressing, you see him pulling his man away, you see him doing everything that you want him to, everything that we've talked about, that he does really, really well. I think he could win a few more headers, and I think he missed a sitter early doors. There were an header, a point-blank header that he should have put away. But again, and you could throw this at me for Campbell as well, to be honest. We're in the Championship. If these were the finished articles, they wouldn't be playing for Sheffield United in the Championship, would they? So I thought it were very, very comfortable today. Very comfortable. And if it weren't for Victor Johansson, we could be talking about a 3-4 or a 5 game. So I were delighted. Really pleased. Very, very poignant. Particularly, obviously, we had the minute silence, and I want to talk about that very briefly because we have Radio Sheffield on coming on way back, and somebody, one of our first callers that we caught was saying that, or telling Rob that the Stoke fans weren't respecting the minute silence. I can understand why it would appear that way. What I believe happened was everybody in the ground, out in the open air of the ground inside, was respecting the minute silence, and it was very well observed. I think what we could hear, the sort of Stoke chanting, was coming from the concourse, I believe, because you couldn't see any Stoke fans openly chanting or trying to disrespect the minute silence or clapping or singing or anything. But what you could hear was a faint echo of Stoke noise. And I think that were down in either in concourse or just coming into the ground as they didn't really realise. So I think you've got to cut them some slack for that. Everybody, every club that we've spoke, even though Wild, I mean, talk to me in the comments if you know what this is about. If you saw Wilder's press conference, he said everybody apart from one club, I think that's what he said, has been really respectful of George. So I don't know what that club is, and I'm keen to find out. But in my experience, it's been a resoundingly respectful response from the football world, really, from Panathinaikos right through to Sheffield Wednesday. So, yeah, I thought the minute silence for George was just obviously justified. It's ridiculous to say anything other. Was as well observed as I think it's been misconstrued a little bit. The second minute where everybody were just erupting in noise for George was brilliant as well. I thought Gary Sinclair as well, by the way, just while our stadium announcer, while they were talking about George choking up, that got me. I don't know if it got anybody else, but wow. Yeah, Gaz is all right after today. Quite an emotional day for him as well, obviously, knowing George very well as he did. And then there were other stuff, weren't there? There was Johnny Blade, as we know him. He was singing in the fan zone beforehand. He got to sing a quick line at the side of the pitch, and it's just been brilliant. And then at the end, obviously, after the game, we always stay behind to clap the players, but the big huddle. They laid George's shirt down. They all huddled round in a circle. It were just, and then they paraded George's shirt around the ground. It was just, oh my words. As I say, tough day to take everything in, and but in a nice way, in a lovely way, if you know what I mean. So thank you to George Baldock. Thank you for him for everything that he's given us. And aside from that, it's a 2-0 victory. We are back in the mix. And I said before the game, which sounds more dramatic than and I thought Stoke were quite poor, if I'm honest, and that's no offence to Stoke. I think they can come up, they can often, they're so inconsistent as a side. I think they can sometimes come in and be great, and I think sometimes they can come in and be sometimes good, sometimes, you know, the Gattuso gif. I think that's what Stoke are like, and it must be frustrating to watch that. Although we've been very poor last 2 games. So we needed to win that game to stay in the mix because, and Eki Outsal, who may have considered changing her name a couple of days ago from Eki Outsal to something else, said that we look like a top 6 team. And I think that's about right. I think that's about where we land at the moment. Obviously, we want to be a top 2 team. But until we can do what we did to Stoke today to a very good side, and you might argue that Luton were that side, but until we can do it to a very good side, like a Leeds, like a Burnley, like a Middlesbrough, then are we top 2 material? I'm not sure. I'm not sure is the answer, but let me know your thoughts. As I say, I don't think we'll have many callers tonight, just because I've spoken to some people about it, and I understand that if we're not feeling, you know, we just want to enjoy the evening, don't we? So I'll let you listen to my dulcet tones. I appreciate we've got somebody waiting, so I'm just going to jump into some comments so I don't get too far behind before I speak to our first caller. So Mr. V says, good evening, Jimmy. Pretty comfortable win today. Thought Sousa was excellent and dominated the midfield. We lose a nil, but at least all the suspensions are over with now before we destroy the pigs. Oh, yeah, that's true, actually. That's true. Losing a nil's a blow, isn't it? Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Come on, you red and white wizards. Thank you, Mr. V. I know you're on a bit of a personal mission to get us over that 5K threshold. I think we're about 160 something away. So if you're not already subscribed, please do, because it really does help the channel. I've talked about it before, but liking the video gets it seen by more eyes. So people who view similar content to you, it will come up on their feed. If you subscribe to the channel, we'll come up on your feed on a regular basis. And if you press the notification bell, you'll get a notification when we're going live with a Ramble, because we don't always keep to a set schedule. Stoke were really poor today, says Joe. So it's no surprise that the Blades won. Still, a win is a win. Evening, Jimmy says, Beast Boy, can't really complain about that performance. Sousa was incredible, and Brooks deserved a goal. Onwards and upwards. Yeah, I thought Brooks did well when he came on. It was an excellent tribute from the club and the fans. Rest in peace, Starman. They were giving out these. I'm loath to criticise, but I expected when they announced that there were going to be 25,000 of these to be distributed. We couldn't see them anywhere. Couldn't see them on the way out. You had to go into the office and like pick them up, which you thought there'd be people like stewards just standing them out, wouldn't you? Really, if there's 25,000 of them, somebody's gone to a lot of effort to put them together. I think they're great. They look really good. I'm going to get it framed, and it's a great keepsake, isn't it? But anyway, yeah, fantastic tribute overall. Really well done by the club. Really respectful. Just hit the right notes, I think. Turkey Jack, good evening, pal. Hope you're well. After last year, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Sousa is showing everyone what it is to be a Blade. Dominant performance in that midfield, which allows Blaster to play well. I wanted a positive reaction, and I got one. Passing with a plan, being more brave with long balls, Raksaki making good runs to allow it to happen, more crosses coming into the box. Tom Cannon, who? Anel's back pocket. I thought it were Sousa. I didn't think he got a lot of joy out of, but neither of them, to be honest. Whichever side he went, they had him. And it's a formidable defence to come up against in this league, and them two. You wouldn't want to be going up against them, particularly when they're on that sort of form. I agree, Jack, with what you're saying. Sousa played really well. Dominant performance in the league, which allowed Blaster to play. I thought Blaster got knocked about all over the place today and did really well and showed resilience to keep getting back up again. I think he's probably banged up a little bit. It'll be good that he gets a full week now before Blackburn. Wanted a positive reaction and got one. There was a plan. There was more of a plan, and we mixed it up. We went long. We went long to our huge striker, which nobody wants to see it all the time, but it's effective football. I thought I didn't mind it at all. There were crossfield balls for Raksaki. There were crosses into the box. Like Jack says, what's that all about? Crossing for your big forward. It was important that we got a response today, says Sam, after two poor results. It's not necessarily the results that upset me, Sam, because it's no shame to go to Elland Road or the Riverside and not take anything back. Obviously, we wanted to. But if you're going to pick out on a calendar, say 5 losses through season, those might be 2 that you tick off as losses. It's the performance that really upset me. And I understood why. I talked to Clarky about this today in Triple Point. I understood what, and he said, understood why Wilder changed it for Leeds. I didn't agree with it, but I understood that he tried to match them against their strengths. And it didn't work. It did not work. And then whatever happened at Middlesbrough didn't work either. Good to see us back today. Evening, Jimmy, says David. In my opinion, that was a Blades performance we can be proud of. Vinny was outstanding. But that was for George. That was for George. You could see how much it affected the players today, couldn't you, after the final whistle had gone? Having said that, although George is a massive, I know we don't like that word, but he's a huge, huge part of our club. My Aunt Sal were right in something she said. From the starting lineup, how many of them played with George at the club? I'm not sure many of them did. Anel played with him, but other than Ollie Arblaster will come through the system, Vinny, but they didn't. And that's another thing, because Endo Stevens were on pitch and nobody really, I didn't feel like we acknowledged Endo that much. And obviously it's overshadowed by the tragedy with George. But like, how many players did Ender play with? When you think that Ender was such an integral part of our success over the last few years, how many players on the pitch did Ender play with in a Sheffield United shirt? Not many. Not many. Ryan Brewster, maybe, when he came on. Jack Robinson, who were on bench. Can I just say that Burrows was outstanding as well? Won every header and wasn't, when he wasn't winning it, he was using his body well. Yeah, I thought he was solid. Jack, to be fair. Evening, Jimmy. Comfortable win on a difficult day emotionally. Credit to Wilder and the whole team for a professional performance that George would be proud of. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Fly high, Starman. Well said, pal. Well said. I don't know if you heard Wilder's post-match. It was, I'm going to say uncharacteristically spiky, but we know what he's like, don't we? I think he's been hurt by obviously the tragedy, but he's been hurt by the results as well, because we know what a fierce competitor he is. I think he probably shoulders the blame for a lot of that. I think he was also a lot closer to George than people realise. So it's been an horrible week, a couple of weeks at the club, and that result, hopefully, and the fantastic tribute, hopefully sort of moves us back towards the right direction. I can just say one more thing. We didn't look like we missed Hamer at all. I think Sousa and Arblaster, shots from outside the box, shows the danger we have if we shoot. Sousa's shot, that I don't know how Johansson saved it, to be honest, got right up in the corner and tipped it away. We were right behind it. It was absolutely beautiful. He's got some stuff in his locker, that lad. Didn't read it, Jack. Drybry says normal services resumed. What's all the fuss about? Sousa, Suter, and Nell outstanding. I agree, pal. Relax, enjoy the weekend. Great send off for George. Rest in peace, Starman. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Tommy says, what a rubbish standard the Championship is this season. Terrible, in fact. I thought they were quite poor today, Stoke. I have to say that. Evening, Jimmy. Great result, says Bry. Great result. Played well on a very sad day. Tearful. Yeah, absolutely. It was sad. There's no two ways about it. But I think it was a very nice way to sort of pay tribute to George. Hi, Jimmy. Great result today, and also a fantastic tribute to George, says Kev. Onwards and upwards, up the Blades. Hope you well, pal. I have 1 to 2 grumbles. I think 4 players had the opportunity to shoot from the left and they chose to pass it across. Sometimes I think we need to switch it up. We have shown a reluctance to shoot, but like you said, there were a little bit more today, which is good. Glad we beat Stoke and Tyrese scored after the disrespect towards George. See, I didn't. You may have misinterpreted, or we may differ on our opinion of the Stoke fans for the minute silence. I don't think there were any intentional wrongdoing. I did love Tyrese shushing the Stoke fans after they gave him some stick. It were nothing to do with the George thing. It was Tyrese scoring and giving him some stick. What a trickler, by the way. I need to see that back because it didn't look like it were the most clean of strikes. But yeah, I love a bit of housery. My prediction of a nailed-on 0-0 was a way off. We could have had half a dozen, says Wayne. Absolutely right, pal. Absolutely right. Needed the result after 2 hard away games. Need to get a run going now, and was brilliant seeing both strikers scoring today. I wonder when the last time that happened, Jimmy lad. I don't know. Getting one striker to score with one up top's been hard enough. Apologies tonight, Jimmy. I can't make it, says Jamie. I'm on a packed train, then seeing my dad for his birthday. All I say is we looked so much better today, and Sue's made a huge difference. Absolutely right, pal. Hope you have a great time with your dad. And he also says, shame about Anel being suspended, and I'll be interested to see who steps in, but good to have the win back. And thank you, Bristol City and QPR, for doing us favours. Just worried about Sunderland running away. I assume that is. Yeah, long way to go, pal. Long way to go. We've seen teams capitulate, haven't we, before? So I don't think Sunderland are runaway champions just yet. If we didn't have the 2 points, and we have to stop saying that because we have got the 2 points, but without that deduction, we're on 24 points from 12, which is 2 points a game. Promotion form in any regular season, and we're second currently on form. I know we have to play every team, and we've got Borough and Leeds away out of the way. But how come in 5 games we only played once at home as other teams had that fixture too. Leeds and Borough away, Stoke at home, then Blackburn and Bristol City away. It looks a bit iffy for me. Yeah, it's a good point, Danny. Sometimes out fixtures work out. I think we've had a couple of back-to-back home games as well, haven't we, earlier on. But like you say, we have to play every team twice, don't we? So I'd rather get the away games out of the way first and pile up the home games personally. Read that one from Jamie. I think Starman has to be the walkout song for the rest of the season. It was very emotional, weren't it? Very emotional when they were walking out to that. Raksaki was poor again, says Ollie. Not seen him play well yet. What, really? Not even Luton, where he won us the game. Preferred two up front because Moore looked more like himself today. I thought exactly the same with that part, pal. My team for Blackburn is Cooper, Anel, Suter, Robbo, and Burrows. You can't have Anel. I assume you mean Gilchrist because of Anel. So we'll go Gilchrist, Suter, Robbo, and Burrows back four. If Anel is suspended, then Sariki, O'Hare, Souza, Blaster, and Hamer in midfield. Moore and so you're dropping Raksaki instead of O'Hare, because that was the question I asked. I was asking my dad, where does Hamer fit back in this team? Because I don't think it's a world-beating team by any means, but I thought vast majority of them played very well today. It's got to be O'Hare, hasn't it? It's got to be Callum O'Hare to drop out and Gus Hamer to come in on the left, even though it's not his natural position. We're talking about Ben Brereton and Diaz not getting in the Southampton side. He'd do all right, wouldn't he, in this team? He'd do all right. Danny says, I'd stick in R&D for Anel the next match. I just don't trust Robbo at the back. Oh, he's fallen, hasn't he? His reputation with some fans has fallen. I've always been consistent on Robbo, I'd like to point out. Plus the fact he hasn't played much all season, so rusty, he has a mistake in him. Hope Hamer is champing at the bit for the next one up the Ramble. I did say to my dad and Hecky out, Sal, I wouldn't have been surprised if he'd have brought on either Reese or Jack Robinson for 10 minutes today just to grease the wheels a little bit. You know, knowing that Anel's missing the next game, but it obviously didn't happen. Obviously, Reese were on bench, so that were never going to happen. Couldn't give Raksaki. In work, so watching, listening to Chad doing his watch along, says Dublin Blade. Predicted 3-1 as Stoke aren't very good. Goalkeeper is good. The regulation win, take 4 points from the next 2 away games, then smash the Pigs. Would love it, mate. Would love it. Nice to see a few teams around us dropping points, so we're still in the mix with losing them last 2 games. Can see Sunderland falling off it soon. I think top 3 is us, Leeds and Burnley. Hope we get autos. I certainly hope we get autos, pal, because we all know what we're like in the playoffs, don't we? I'm not so sure Sunderland will fall off a cliff. I really like their manager. I think they've got a really good young squad. People are sort of the top at league, but people are sort of always questioning the staying power. Look at what happened with Ipswich last season. Everybody thought they were going to fall away to some bigger teams, and they never did. They stuck around, didn't they? Don't sleep on Sunderland is all I'll say. But I think the top 4 as is now could well be the top 4 come the end of the season. Let's just hope it's in a different order. Vinny Souza's absolutely outstanding today, says Mark. Suter, a close second. Yeah, a brilliant Suter as well. Never lost the ball. Good 2-0 win and a clean sheet. Isaac says, great win for the boys today. Vinny Souza outstanding. What a player he's turned into. Amazing day to celebrate. GB2. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Top man. Thank you, pal. Mel says, possibly the most moving day at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane since Derek Dooley passed away. It was incredible, wasn't it, Mel? Incredible. And it's one of them that, and I know not everybody will have had the opportunity to be there, but hopefully wherever you watched it or listened to it, you could feel the atmosphere, because it was just a little bit weird. There were a bit of an aura about the game today. It wasn't the loudest the crowd's ever been, or, I mean, the Chip Butty song was sung with some passion, but just everything about the day felt different, and it was moving, emotional. Jimmy, are you concerned about Sunderland opening up a 5-point gap at the top? With Burnley and Leeds drawing and dropping points, their content creators believe they're going to get promotion. I think they've got a strong chance, mate. I think they have got a strong chance. One thing I will say is there's 2 spots. There's 2 spots, so one of them can go up. One of them are going to go up, most likely, of the 3. I don't think 5 points is insurmountable at this stage of the season if we hadn't have had the 2 points, which we're going to have to stop saying, but it'd only be a 3-point gap. And, you know, I fancy our team against anybody when we're playing our strongest team. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, we could play that defence against any team in the league and I'd feel confident. Play the strongest team. Dom, good evening, pal. Great win for George today, Jimmy. Who replaces an L against Blackburn? I don't think Robinson should come in because we can't have 3 left-footed defenders in a 4. I play Gilchrist at centre-back and Shaq right-back. Who would you 3 left-footers? But no, it wouldn't. It'd be 2 and 2 because Harry Souttar's a right-footer. So you'd have Gilchrist, Souttar, Robinson, and Burrows. So you may have Souttar down as a lefty, but he's a right-footed player. How important is that 2-point deduction going to cost us in a very, very tight race for a top 2 finish? It's very tight at the minute, Mr. V, but what, we're 12 games in? Long way to go, pal. Long way to go. More than 34 games left. So we're a quarter of the way through. Listen, we could have that argument, and we may well have to revisit this argument later in the season, because I'm not completely dismissing your point. However, the alternative was a transfer ban. And if we had a transfer ban, we would have no Cooper, no Gilchrist, no Souttar, no Burrows, no Raksaki, no O'Hare, no more. It's an abs. We had to take the points and do the business because we were losing that many players. So, and I know you're not saying anything against that either, Mr. V, to be fair. But I think we knew the situation going into the season. We don't agree with it. We don't agree with how it came to it. I think we got off really lightly with 2 points, if I'm honest. But yeah, it could be costly. You never know, do you? Right, I'm going to come to my first caller of the evening. He's been waiting very patiently, and I thank you very much for your time. It is Liam. How's it going, pal?
I'm good, pal. Are you?
Very well, mate. Thank you for being so patient with me. I have to make sure I don't get too far behind on these comments because, you know, I want to make sure people have their say as well. So, what did you think to the game today? How are you feeling, mate? You went to Lane, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought the tribute was class. I thought the reefs laid either side of the grounds by Wilder and Ender was class from both clubs.
Yeah.
I thought, like you says, Jim, when Gary choked up a bit, it brought tears to my eyes. I was nearly crying, but I didn't want to cry. But I nearly were.
Tough, wasn't it?
But I just thought performance-wise, it's up there with the Luton game this season. It's one of the best performances this season by far. I thought, like we're saying, Vinny were unreal. Aware played. I think it was one of his better games today. I think he played really well today. I think he played all right. Linked to play up a bit, but like you said, apart from Ty, he didn't really do much apart from Scott. It was a good finish, mind you. It was a good finish to swivel and put it in, but I just thought we're saying Stoke were poor, but were we that good? I look at it that way.
Exactly, that's another good way of looking at it.
And for me, at Blackburn next week, just touching on an L getting banned, I'd bring Reece in.
Would you?
But I just don't get why.
Even though it's a 2.
Yeah, true. I forgot about that, mate. I don't like somebody just said in comments. I don't know if Rob will be a bit rusty.
I think Reece is a better player. I'd play Reece personally.
Yeah, we've said that.
But I think Robinson will come in. I think that's the way he'll go. I might be wrong. If Robinson does come in, this will be an interesting call because before he got injured, he was captain, weren't he? Oh, Liam's disappeared. You're back, mate. But he was captain. He was captain, weren't he? And then Arblaster took it on in Robbo's absence.
It's gone off.
Are you back, mate? Have I gone? we can see you. Can you hear me, pal?
I think it might have gone off.
Right, Liam's left us. So I'm sure he'll jump back in a minute. I'll jump into comments. But yeah, remind me in comments if I'm right with that. But Robinson was captain, club captain, when he went injured. So Arblaster's obviously taking the mantle, taking the armband. Oh, Liam's back. Hang fire. You all right, mate?
Yeah, sorry about that. I think it was my internet. Sorry, mate.
Oh, don't worry. It's all right, mate. I was just saying when Robbo got injured, he was captain at club. If he comes back in now, I don't think he should take the armband off Arblaster. What's your thoughts?
No, 100% no.
So, because if he come, you've got to imagine.
Yeah, but he's captain
He'll
though.
come in against.
So does he have to? Does he have to by football law or?
No. We can choose who wears armband.
Yeah, I was going to say because he's vice captain.
So, but he'll come back in for Blackburn.
Yep.
He'd technically wear armband if that's what Wilder decides to do, and then surely he's out again for Bristol City. He's out because Anel's back.
Yeah.
So you can't. You'd keep it on Arblaster, surely. I don't think the captain's armband means as much as it used to do, if I'm honest. I think, it's more a token thing now. But I think Arblaster's worn it well. And I think it's a big statement from the club to make him a captain, our captain. I think he should be club captain, really, if I'm honest. So, that's an interesting point to raise. But so knowing now that it's going to be a flat back four, hopefully, we've got to make that change for Anel. Are you bringing Reece into a back two alongside Suter? Because I think that works. I think that works for me.
Yeah, I would. And like you said, Jim, if they're all fit and firing, you've got to keep that back four. That's the best back four by far.
100%, mate. 100%. I also take your point on Callum O'Hare. I sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, so I'm happy for anybody to come on and call me out because.
No, I didn't think it was great. I just thought it was one of his better games today for us. I just thought he linked up play a couple of times. Like you said,
absolutely. Absolutely. What I'm saying is you may be right with that, and I may be looking at it from a perspective of somebody who's on a bit of a downer about him at the minute. And I sometimes need your perspective, other people's perspective to say, actually, Jimmy, come on, give him a fair shake. He played well today, he did all right. It might just be because I've got in my head that he's not putting it in enough. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. So it's good to hear that other people think he played well and deserved the shirt today. And hopefully he continues to kick on and play well. But with the performance as it was today, Gus returns from a yellow card against Blackburn. Where does he get back in? Do you bring him straight back in?
You've got to, haven't you, because he's best player. But I know we played 4-4-2 today, but do you go back to 4-2-3-1?
No.
I know, because it's not.
I think he will. I think he will. But I don't think he should.
But
I know. And this, if you're Wilder, is the dilemma, isn't it? Because he's got to change a winning team because obviously the suspension and the returning Gus Hamer, who was our best player, quite rightly said. Where does he fit in? I thought Kiefer looked a different man today with somebody alongside him.
Yeah.
I don't think Ty Campbell were necessarily the answer, but maybe Brewster is. But he's going to pull Ty Campbell out, I think, and put Gus Hamer back in. I think that's going to be the natural swap, and we'll revert to the 4-2-3-1 that we've been using. But it's a shame because it's been working. It worked today. I mean, it worked, and it worked well.
But I think before Leeds and Borough game, the 4-2-3-1 formation were working.
True, very true. But it looked. Kiefer Moore looked. He's looked isolated. I think in last 4, 5, 6 games, and today he didn't look it at all. I think we looked dangerous going forward. Looked like we could score a lot of the times we were going forward. To be fair, we don't have to be as rigid as that. What you could do is have it in your back pocket, couldn't you, and know that we can switch to a 2 up top rather than, because earlier in the season they were bringing Brewster on and Brewster were playing at 10, whereas today he brought Brewster on for Campbell and he played 2 up top, which is where they're most natural. So.
I just think regarding Cal, Jim, I think Cal spoke so highly of Chris when he signed, and I just think he's come as a player as one of the main actors. I think he's a big player, so I think he's going to start most games. So I just think that, and same with a bit similar with Kiefer Moore. Like a lot of people calling for them both to be dropped today, but I think them two have come in as big names and big actors in teams. So I think they are going to start most matches if he does revert back to that 4-2-3-1. I can't see Campbell starting next week if I'm on it. Like you said, it was good to see Kiefer to have a partner up there with him, someone to play off him. Is Rian the answer? But then where do you fit Hamer and O'Hare in? Like we've said, he's playing Hamer out of position to consolidate them both in the side. But you've got to bring Gus back in next week.
Yeah, of course you have. And listen, whilst I've admitted to maybe being on a bit of a down, about old Callum O'Hare at the minute? Didn't your boy get some from Cal?
He got his shirt after again. Yeah. Straight after they
That's
took
brilliant.
took that picture cop end with Baldock shirt, all the squad and the staff and stuff like that. We asked him beforehand because we always go for pictures, so we asked him beforehand, and he spotted as he smiled, he run over and jumped over advertising boards and like give Keegan the shirt, and me and Keegan just hugged him, and I said, "Cal, I love you, mate. Thank you, and you were brilliant today." And I just thought he was really good today. Yeah, so
brilliant. I love that.
And I just thought it's been.
And
a special
to be honest,
day.
when you know that they're good people, and this, it does warm you to them, doesn't it? And it sort of makes you give them a.
Hello.
Hiya, mate. You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you. You got Callum's shirt,
didn't you? Yeah, I'm
Let's have a look at it. Have you got it there?
Yeah, Keegs, 1 minute. Talk to Jimmy a minute while I get
Hello. What did you think to the game today?
What did you think?
What did I think? I thought we were really good. Thought we played really well. I didn't think that we looked in danger really at all.
I think it was 3-1.
Oh, you've turned me off, haven't you? Keegan, lad.
Let me have a look at phone. Yeah, see, look, can you see?
Yeah.
Keegs out phone a minute.
Look at that. Yeah, I can see it, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. It smells like him anyway, so.
Bit big for you, that, Keegan. Keegan, don't be letting your dad wear that. It's for you, that, mate. All right.
Are you going to wear that?
Yeah, no, I'm not wearing it. I'm getting it signed and they're going to get it framed out with you. So, but it's good memories to look back on.
Yeah. Tell him I got your
Yeah, he knows. He showed that picture on Ramble earlier, George's side.
Yeah, brilliant.
So, yeah, that was brilliant as well. But like you said, Jim, I thought because nobody were handing them out, but then some man behind us shouted us and he passed us one. But then about 5-10 minutes after, some woman just walked straight down with loads in her hand. Yeah, so I don't know if she was working for a club or if it was just somebody who I don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah,
fair
so.
No, I'm pleased you got one, mate. I'm pleased you got one. Hopefully a few people got them. Anything else you want to talk about, mate, before
I just want to say I'm glad Johnny got his time at the fan zone because it was fully deserved.
Yes.
And that piece he did at half time. Like I said, it was good. Like you said, Jim, I just thought I was a bit disappointed the reception for Edna because I know that Gary read
Sinclair.
the teams out beforehand, before the minute silence and the tribute for George. But I thought second half Edna would have come and clapped.
Yeah, I did.
Well, all three sides, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, performance-wise, special day for George, brilliant. I thought we were unreal from start to finish. I just think they never look like Stone. And it says something, doesn't it, when they're taking Tom Cannon off at half time? So
I know. And we scored early, looked comfortable, didn't we? It's been a good
like
day,
you said,
mate.
apart from that, what Coops played out, we never looked in danger really. So
yeah, that's right. So. Cheers then, pal. Very much appreciated.
No worries. Anytime, pal. Take care. I'll see you soon, mate. Thank you.
Good night, mate. Cheers, Liam. Top man, as always. Thank you for jumping on, pal. Always good to see you. So, right, let me see where we got up to with the comments. Oh, I think we've got through a fair few. That's all right. So, Mr. V had finished us off with how important is that 2-point deduction. Jack says, I think we need to be using Femi at the right back as well, as Gilchrist isn't our player. I think there's half a chance we could, if we're promoted, and it's a big if, I think we could get Gilchrist. I know we've had a bit of a debate. I know Steve Holmes was talking about it in group. Do we actually want to go up this season? And it's a fair question because ultimately we don't enjoy the football, do we? We don't enjoy getting hammered every week. However, if you go up, you get the finances that allows you to strengthen your team significantly. And you've got to think that we would buy Suter and we've half a chance of buying Gilchrist if we go. I don't think we'll buy Ratsaki, but those two. And confirming our back line, maybe even getting an L to sign a new deal if we stay up, if we go up, should I say. So yes, it's there's pros and cons in there because this team could be picked apart if we don't go up. Great win, says JD. That one's for you, Georgie boy. Where are the more haters now? Up the blades, up the Ramble. They'll be back out soon, mate, don't worry. Thing is, and I may be wrong. He may have commented further down. But I'd just like to welcome back to the chat David Webster, who's been very vocal over the last 2 streams that we've done where we lost to Leeds and we lost to Borough. So welcome back, David Webster. Listen, he gets some stick and it makes me laugh. He's just very anti-Chris Wilder. And he's entitled to his opinion, even though 99.9% of us don't agree with it. So, yeah, if he wants to come on when we've done well and maybe praise Chris Wilder, praise Wilder for some of his... I don't know if that's impossible to do. Jack says, no one can tell me that Anel booking wasn't planned. It was all over their players and then ran into the back of one. Maybe so. I said about these getting these yellow cards before Wednesday game, but I don't know about that. I don't know. Maybe, pal. We did GB2 really good today, says Ian, and we're back to a man we're in a different league. I thought we played really well today, pal. Sousa and Anel were immense today. O'Hare kept things ticking over. Gilchrist class. Raksaki incredible. Vinny was outstanding, says Mel. Kiefer Moore was assured with Campbell alongside. Hi, Jimmy, says Ricky. Good evening, mate. Hope you're well. Great result today. I'd keep that team going forward. Just take out O'Hare and put Hamer in there, and jobs are good. And maybe me too. I could pip for Brewster instead of Campbell, if I'm honest. This also, if it opens up to a 4-4-2, and I'm not saying it will, because I think that sort of gets me overly excited, would open the door to another striker coming in. Because when you've got one up front, 3 is about right, isn't it? But when you've got 2 up front, surely you need 4. Surely you need 4. Michael says Panathinaikos supporters in their Champions League game against Chelsea held up their club shirt number 32 in honour of George Baldock in their minute's silence to their former player. Yeah, they've been class, haven't they? Absolutely class. Raksaki isn't good enough for me, says Ollie. He lost the ball, then fell to the floor to have a paddy like usual. They nearly scored from it. He's destroyed Brooks' confidence. Harsh, but again, maybe fair. Some are entitled to that opinion. I think it's a little bit harsh, personally. Good result. Think 4-4-2 is a good choice, says Jake. Wilder gave us options out on the wings and his ability to cross more. Still think Blaster and Sousa need to carry the ball forward more and make passes behind. Yeah, maybe. They sit deep, though, don't they, Jake? They sit deep to break up the play. I think our Blaster's very good in transition, carrying the ball forward a little bit. But you're right, he could do more. Today, I thought we were a different class. We saw it at Fulham and Luton last year with Sousa. Just haven't seen it enough, that's all, says Ricky. Absolutely. I think O'Hare did really well, to be fair. He's got the ball off them loads of times. Did some good passes. Didn't see much. Didn't see much of Campbell. I think he's fair as well. But I watch a lot of Callum O'Hare because I've been critical of him. I want to try and be fair, but maybe that's skewing my opinion anyway. I don't think he does a lot right defensively, but he's a very attack-minded player, isn't he? And you're going to get that with players who are very good offensively, aren't always the best defensive. I don't think Gus is a great defensive mind, but when they started doubling up on us on the right-hand side, when they changed the formation second half, it left Burrows quite exposed. And when Burrows went with his man, 42 cut inside every time and was almost into last line of defence. Michael Walmsley, thank you, pal, for your continued support, being a member for 14 months. Hope you well, bud. Michael says, Callum Robinson scored last weekend for Cardiff, took his shirt off, and underneath it had tribute to his former Sheffield United teammate, George Baldock. I believe it said, I miss you, bro. It did. I saw that. I think I retweeted it, actually, because it just shows, doesn't it, what he meant to so many people, that so many have dedicated things to him. McBurney did the same last week, didn't he? Nice to see you at Triple Point today. And you, pal. Thought we were under par today and not as good as we could be. Oh, really? Okay. Why did we go to a 5 at the back at 70 minutes so negative? I don't think we did. Vinny, man of the match for me, thought Moore was poor. Well, that's a bit harsh, Chris. A bit harsh, mate. I don't think we went to a 5 at the back. I think we assumed it were going to be 5 at the back and we were trying to counter their formation a little bit. But actually, I think what happened was Sam McCallum came on for O'Hare and just went left. Went in the left-hand side position. So, and I didn't mind it. I thought it looked okay. Pretty balanced. Evening, Jimmy and the Blades Ramble crew, says Nige. Fantastic today. That superb win. Especially with the tribute to the Starman, who will be greatly missed. I watched the match from home and it was very emotional. It was, mate. It was. Dino, good evening, pal. Just showed how much we miss Sousa. Absolute class. And Suter was brilliant. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Sousa was there against Leeds, though, weren't he? To be fair. You might not have seen him because I didn't see much of him either. But that's me being a Sousa refuser. I'm not going to be that way. He played very well today. Very well. Oh, is this back again? I thought it'd be really cool to have a moving camera that Go how. Anyway, Nige says you could hear the chanting on the TV during the minute silence, but thanks to the Stoke fans who actually respected it. Jimmy, which club does Wilder mean that wasn't respectful to George? I wish I knew, mate. Leeds or Wednesday. It certainly won't Wednesday's praise Wednesday. I don't think Leeds did anything wrong from what I'm aware of. I'd have been all over it if they did. I don't know, mate. Maybe somebody can enlighten us. I also think O'Hare did some nice balls when he could have easily shot. It's fair. It's fair. Maybe I've been a little bit overcritical. Great to see the best 2 goalkeepers in the Championship. Absolutely right, Kev. I would say that they are the best 2 goalkeepers in the Championship. The second best goalkeeper in the Championship, let's wait. What can I say? Billy Sharp scored for Donny today in their win over Bradford. I bet that goal was for Starman. Yeah, Billy, top man. Top man, still doing the business in League 2. Where did you get all the Blades badges from on your wall? The Blades badge on the wall, it's Club Shop. Club Shop Special. I don't know if you can order it online, but they're available in Club Shop, mate. But for that 2-point deduction, the Blades will be second in the table, says Michael. Do you have any news on the takeover? It's been reported that the takeover could be done by the end of the month. Apparently, it's in its final stretch now with the lawyers. Everything agreed, including the hotel. Because I think, the hotel might have been the stumbling block from what I understand. I've not got an update. Get ready for name drop clang. I am hoping to speak to the Prince in the next few days just to see how. I haven't spoken to him for a while because he doesn't like talking to anybody when we're losing. So I've kept my distance. I've tried to be respectful, but I haven't spoken to him for a while, so it'd be nice to catch up with him. Now that we've got a great victory under his belt, then I'll see if I can get any updates that we're able to pass on. Hoping for some progress, but we'll see. We'll see. So I'll let you know, Scott, as soon as I do know, pal. R&D never looks brilliant to me at centre-back. Robbo might be a better choice, or we're bringing Gilchrist in and putting another right-back on, up the Blades, up the Ramble. Maybe so, but then you shift in Suter across again, aren't you? I didn't think he looked overly comfortable when him and Anel had swapped around against Leeds. Maybe. There's a few choices in there. It's a dilemma, but I do like Reece Norrington-Davies. I'd still have Cannonier, says Nige. I've seen he wants a January move to us, so not sure how true that is. But how good is Sousa this season? Our best player at the minute. I would also have Cannonier. He didn't get any joy out of our back 2 today, any at all, and didn't pose a threat. But they hooked him at half time. I think in a 2 with Kiefer Moore. Unbelievable. Raksaki runs were good. Our away result means nothing now. Leeds and Burnley drew. Not many of them played with the Starman, but it just shows you what putting on that shirt does to you. Absolutely right, pal. They've bought into these new players. Gary Sinclair got when he started to cry when speaking. Ollie, you and me both, pal. You and me both. Mr. V, thank you so much for your generosity, pal. Already a platinum rambler, and he's donating further to the channel. Let's get Jimmy to 5,000 subscribers before Christmas. 5K before Christmas Day. I didn't say which Christmas Day, though, did I? That's and make 2025 the start to 10K. Wow. Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Any support is appreciated. But it's free to subscribe if you want to help the channel out. Sheffield United acknowledge Ampadu when he laid a wreath alongside Robinson in the team's tribute to Ellen Road. They should have included Ender Stevens today as a former teammate. I don't really know what happened. I think Ender did lay a wreath. I think Ender did lay a wreath for George. I didn't see it personally, but a lot of people have commented on it. I think the noise heard from the away end wasn't from the stands. I agree, pal. Cowboy Paul Young, Chuck Norris. How's it going, pal? I must have watched a different match. Kiefer had about 2 crosses that came in at head high that he could run onto. 96% of the crosses come into the box at knee high or lower. Brooks needs to play on the left. We said that, actually. I don't think he made one forward pass. Brooks carried the ball forward, but as soon as the defender was on him, he looked to cut in, was blocked and passed back. Get him on the left. I think it would be interesting I thought, you'll be surprised here, I thought Callum O'Hare was flagging. And I thought Raksaki still looked dangerous. So I was hoping that he would, at 2-0 on about 70 minutes or whatever it was, I think it was early, weren't it? About 60, but I thought it'd be O'Hare to come off at that stage and Brooks to go on the left, just to try it, just to try him on a different wing. So he has to go around the outside and maybe get some crosses in. Didn't happen. Never mind. Don't write off Sunderland. Said the same thing about Ipswich Town last season, says Michael. Yeah, 2-0 was a fitting scoreline for our number 2. Starman, rest in peace, Georgie Baldock says 10-10-32. Well said, mate. Is the club doing anything for George Baldock's young family? I don't know, pal. I don't know. It's maybe something I'll speak to to Bob from the Fab about it and just see, not to request anything, but just to see what further plans are. I know Panathinaikos, for those that aren't aware, have said they're going to honour his 3-year contract and pay the family his wage for that 3-year period, which is absolutely incredible. Agree with Starman on the walkout. Yeah. No one's going to argue, are they, that could be a new walkout song. Wilder Lane, the wreath where George would have been standing was very emotional. Yeah, they came right over to number 2 position, didn't they? And laid it down. And that's where they had the huddle pre-match and stuff. Oh, man. Maybe controversial, says Paul, but wouldn't you have Vinny as captain rather than Blaster? No. Great performance for the Blades today, up the Blades. Look, Vinny's a brilliant character, but Blaster is everything I want in a captain. He's maybe not vocal like Billy Sharp, and that might come in later years like Billy Sharp, but I think his performances on the pitch speak for themselves, and he's Sheffield United through and through, isn't he? I'm not saying these are prerequisites of captains. That's just my preference. Vinny, who were dancing to Shakira, Player of the Year Awards, shaking his shoulders like this. Chris Morgan had been turning. Deary me. Stoke fans very disrespectful, making noise during the minute's silence. Again, if you missed it earlier, pal, I'm not going to repeat myself time and time again, but I think that was from the concourse. I might be wrong, but I didn't see anybody actively trying to disrupt. I heard it, but I don't think it was intentional. Wilder looked very emotional in the post-match huddle. He had he had Vinny and a few others in tears with whatever he said. Wilder is a leader of men. You can say a lot of things about Chris Wilder, and people do. People do. I have also questioned his tactics over the last couple of games. However, he is a leader, isn't he? A man manager, and players have signed this closed season for Chris Wilder. People want to play for Chris Wilder. I don't think he's an easy man to play for by any means, but he demands such high standards, and he's a man manager. And it doesn't surprise me that he's led the players in their tributes, and it's an emotional day, isn't it? R&D for a Nell, says Ian. Behave. Jackie comes straight back in. Need to let it go, mate. He's not going to kiss you, mate. I'd have said something else then, but it's a family-friendly show. I think today we become less predictable, especially the long balls to Raksaki. I agree with that. I want to see some setups from outside the box, as teams will expect the ball across the box. End of the day, that -2 wouldn't have mattered if we'd won against QPR or away at Leeds or Borough. Correct. Any news on takeover, Jimmy? I have just touched on it, pal. I will try and get you an update as soon as I can. It's not wise to talk to Prince Abdullah when we're not winning. So I know better than that now. I've been bitten before. But yeah, we'll try and get you an update. If we had the transfer, if we had the transfer ban, says Nige, we'd be bottom, as that wasn't a winning team last season. So I'm thankful for the -2. If we had beat QPR, then we wouldn't be talking about it. That's right. Is it worrying that our best performances are against teams that didn't show up? No, it's not. You play who's in front of you, pal, and we steamrolled them today. Sariki works brilliantly with Brooks down the right. Can JRS not play left wing, being a left footer? I think Harrison Burrows is a bit more forward thinking than Gilchrist. I think Gilchrist offers you more protection behind Raksaki, which allows him to go off and be his maverick self, doesn't it? I thought we were going to sneeze then. I was, and I managed to mute myself in time. So, success. Yes, Robbo is called captain. It's just the same as when Billy was captain. Absolutely right, pal. But I can't justify him wearing the armband for one game and then being dropped again. I can't do it. Billy was captain in a different vein for me. Can R&D play on the right and Gilchrist playing the 2? No. Vinny out of anyone deserves the armband. He's been fantastic all season, says Nige. Definitely a no for Robbo. Do you think we should play with 2 up front from now on? I thought Moore looked more comfortable. Yes, I do. I would like to see us play with 2 up front, but I also can't argue that Brewster or Campbell are a better player than Hamer. So you've got to bring Gus back in, and it looks like that's going to be the. It's a good problem to have, isn't it? It's a good problem to have if we're right, but a change of style might just see some square pegs in round holes again. So, it's only a tweak, but it's nice to know we've got it to go to in game, isn't it? I think we need to keep this formation right now. Campbell didn't do much, but it shows what happens when a striker is there in the right place. True, good point. Not been around all day today, other than seeing the result. Just read all the comments. I'm none the wiser how the game went, says David. I'll tell you how the game went, David. We played really well, and Stoke played pretty poorly. And it could have been, if it weren't for Victor Johansson, 3, 4, or 5. That's pretty much what you need to know, pal. Suze was the man of the match for me. Up the Blades. I actually vote. I don't often vote on the man of the match thing, but I was just scrolling through and I saw it come up. I voted for Vinny Souza. Standby 2 up top, and O'Hare comes out to replace Gus, I assume you mean. We won 2-0, says Kay. I believe the EFL are wanting to do away with parachute payments for clubs when they're relegated from the Premier League, as it gives them too much of an advantage in the Championship. My thoughts. That would be a disaster if you were to bring it in immediately. I think you have to plan it out over several seasons. So if you know in 5 years' time, then maybe reduce it over the next 5 years, reduce it down to nothing if that's where the way they're going to go. I wouldn't mind it, in all honesty. And as a yo-yo team, which we are trying to become, if we're honest, it's not in our favour that happens, but you need to be prepared for it happening. And any well-run business should be able to deal without parachute payments. So, yeah, a club like ours will probably fight that. But if it meant a greater distribution across the EFL, then surely it's better for football that happens, rather than you have a top 25 teams and everybody else struggles. Because it's, again, we're talking now about maybe it being a 4-team league. And if Luton pick up, it could have been a 5-team league. So there's usually an outlier or two, which were Ipswich last year, Sunderland this time. Leeds are always in and around it. Paul says, Raksaki needs to make better decisions. Sometimes not be so greedy. Guess he's still, I agree, Paul. I think he is a bit greedy with the ball. Evening, Jim, says Aaron. Great win today. How ridiculous is Sousa at this level? Absolute walk in the park for him, and brings the best out of Arblaster as well. I absolutely agree, Aaron. Well said, pal. There were one point where we'd lost possession and Stoke were pulling away with it, and he appeared out of nowhere. Just zoomed past his man, recovered the ball, and yeah, brilliant. Wednesday have nicked his song. I don't know whose song you mean, pal. O'Hare's brilliant, picking the ball up, not so great defensively, but also attacking-wise, not very good. Seemed to pass it side to side more than anything else today. Had a chance to shoot and didn't. Patty Fox says Campbell is fitted the more. First time he's pressed well. Shows what a bit of criticism can do, as shown with him putting fingers in his ears when he scored. Jimmy, how is your internet connection now, as it was causing you issues during your Leeds watch? You tell me, pal. You tell me. If you can hear me loud and clear, then we're all right. I still don't think it's been fully fixed by Sky, but we've been having words. Sousa top draw, says Fatty Folk. Be lucky to keep him in January. Jimmy, I have to say, the Stoke fans did a nice thing, and the ones who came in late were singing, but got told by their own fans, or the Blades, up the Ramble. What a win, says Cody. Almost cried with the tribute. You weren't on your own, pal. I've heard about the takeover to be done in a week. Is there any truth in that, Jimmy? As I say, hopefully we'll get an update to you soon, pal. In Brooks' defence, they were doubling up on him. I also saw many times that Moore made runs, but they didn't play him in. Fair. He was doing a lot of work with Kiefer Moore. We or you need to get in touch with Panathinaikos. Sorry for the spelling. YouTube podcasters, and set up a mutual support. They can become our adopted. I think every Blade, if they didn't already have a Greek team, I don't know, we've got some Greek Blades out there that do have Greek teams that follow the Ramble. Actually, we've got a Rambler that's based in Greece. But if we haven't already got a Greek team, we all have now, haven't we? We all have now. That is a bond that both clubs will hold through George Baldock. And if there's ever a silver lining, then there's that in there. I think there's been some talk, Chuck Norris, of like an annual friendly between the clubs. I'd actually like it to be like a tournament of like a cup, a friendly cup every pre-season with Oxford, MK Dons, unfortunately. Any club that he played for and that have been touched by George Baldock, then let's do it. Why not? I can tell you it's right about Stoke during the minute's silence. Some of their fans weren't happy. It's not hard to stay quiet for 1 minute, is it? No, it isn't. But again, I don't think, I'd like to think they weren't aware. What I liked about Vinny was when Brewster got booked, Blaster looked angry and made a move to the ref, but Vinny grabbed him and pulled him away. Yeah, I saw that, David. I don't think he went, you may have seen it better because if you've seen it on TV or at a game, I'm not sure, but in the ground, it looked like Blaster was having a pop at one of their players. Brewster lost his head there, didn't he? I could see him going. Panathinaikos said they were going to set up a testimonial game and the proceeds to go to George's family, says 1010. Wouldn't it be brilliant if that game was against the Blades? Absolutely right, it would. And they'd make a lot of money as well. I think people would be happy to donate. Maverick Raksaki, I like that, Jimmy. Yeah, I called him that in an article recently. I think he is. I think he's a bit of a maverick. If they did away with the parachute payments, the gap will get even bigger between the Prem and the Championship. Look at us from League One upwards. We managed it. Pompey are obviously poor for the size of the club. Well said, pal. That's about right. As much as I love the way Vinny is playing, I'd be worried if you gave him the armband. It could go to his head. It could, yeah. We've seen him with armband before, haven't we? And he'd be pointing and yelling at some inappropriate times and could disrupt coherence. Yeah, I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it, personally. I am delighted to say we've got to the end of the comments, so I've managed to include everybody's comment. Thank you, everyone that's contributed tonight to the Ramble, as always. And I'm going to call it there, I think, because we've gone over an hour. I know we normally go up to 90 minutes, but it's been a tough day, hasn't it? A tough day, a good day, an emotional day, a draining day. But it feels like we've turned a bit of a corner. So let's hope that's the case. We'll be back. I think I'll be doing a watch along if I can. If it's on the telly, it probably won't be, will it? Is it? Let me just double check, actually, the kickoff time for Blackburn. Because if it's early kickoff, then I'll be able to do a watch along. And it is. So I think it will be on TV. So if it's on TV, we'll plan on doing a watch along. But keep it Ramble. And if you're not sure when we're going to be back, tap that notification bell and, of course, subscribe. We'll be back with the warm-up before you know it. And to those that subscribe to the Patreon, obviously have your exclusive content as well. So thank you to everybody that supports the channel. I'm chuffed to bits that we're back in the race. And, yeah, that one was for you, Starman. I won't sing, don't worry about that, but an absolutely fitting tribute to a wonderful footballer, and from all accounts and from my very brief interactions with him, a wonderful person as well. So, yeah, thank you, Starman. Sleep well. Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the Blades.